All right, so we are just going to do a quick review of oils that I personally love to travel with. And there's so many. I feel like I wish I could bring my entire collection of oils with me everywhere I go, because you never know when you're going to need them. They all have a purpose and they help so much. But I try to condense it when I'm traveling, especially when I'm traveling by air, because you can only bring so much with you. So anyways, that kind of where you're going is going to determine what you're bringing or how much you're bringing with you. That can be whether it's a road trip in the car, can be air travel. If you're going camping, there's different oils you're going to want to bring. If you're in a hotel, there's different oils I would recommend bringing as well. So one of the biggest things that I suggest doing when you're traveling is diffuse. Diffuse everywhere you go. Diffuse in your car, diffuse in the hotel. I've seen people take like the little bubble diffuser and diffuse in the airport before they leave, just to help calm the nerves or get themselves in the mindset if they have any anxiety with flying. And if you're going to a family member's house, always just ask permission, but I would assume they'd be okay with you diffusing in your bedroom, like at night, to help support your sleep or whatever it is. So when we diffuse, the diffusers disperse millions of aromatic microparticles into the air, and it's going to help purify and clean out the air that we have, that's surrounding us, the air that we're breathing in. And so that's going to help us to breathe better and reduce those allergens and congestion that can come from the air that you're breathing, whether that's in the, especially hotels. I feel like people have the hardest time with the air in hotels, which is really interesting because they have these really big air conditioning systems, but those tend to dry out the air. They tend to cause us to be really stuffy and congested. And in my experience, they don't help me to sleep well. They actually do the opposite, and I struggle to sleep. But having my diffuser with me helps clear that environment, set the mood of that environment, and it's going to help you with your relaxation or set the mood of your trip. And so I just kind of put together, we'll go through them. I just threw all the oils that I recommend for different things. So first are the car and hotels. I always have these oils with me right here on hand. And I actually forgot one. There's oregano. These are the ones that I keep in my case. I have this case right here. I got it off Amazon. It's awesome because you can keep all your oils in it. I love it, love it, love it. But I always have these with me. Diaper bag, car, even if I'm just going around the corner to the park with my kids, I bring it with me because I never know what's going to happen. If it's, they trip and get an owie or something, or we have major attitude at the store. Okay, I always have them. So anyways, those are the ones I'm going to grab. Now, if we're going to diffuse in a hotel, I grab these ones right here. And I also sometimes use Air-X too, if I'm able to bring it with me. But Serenity I use to help us sleep. It's one I use even here at home. It's a great relaxation oil and just calming. On Guard. As soon as I go into a hotel room, I start my diffuser with On Guard and even that lemon, because it helps purify that air, and it's going to help boost our immunity in the room. I don't know who's been there. I don't want to know who's been there. I appreciate having hotels as access, but oops. Hold on 1 second. We're just gonna. But hotels are gross, let's be honest. And so I like to clean out the air. Going back to that air conditioning, I walked into a hotel last week, and as soon as I walked in, it smelled musky and stale, and I didn't like it. And so for my comfort and for our health, I always do those oils first. Going back to the car though, I diffuse in the car for multiple reasons. One, if we're getting tired when we're driving, I'll throw some orange or some lemon just to kind of like pep us up. Even frankincense, if you have it in a bottle, is going to help you focus. And so those are the ones that I'm going to diffuse while driving. If my kids are being crazy and everybody's fighting, I'll throw some adaptive in there. That's a great one too. I have that, like I said, also in that roller form, and I'll roll that on my kids. I'll roll that on me. I'll turn and roll it on my husband, even though he doesn't want it. And everybody's happy. So, and it really does work. You turn around and probably within a minute, everybody's kind of just calmed down doing their own thing. Another one I bring, this tamer. This is in the kids collection. The tamer for my kiddos, I have one that sits in the way back of my car. I drive a very big vehicle and he's in the back and he's always like looking pale, like he's going to throw up. Funny enough, he's not the one who just threw up last week. It was a different one. And he didn't have the tamer on him. He gave me 2 seconds notice that he was going to puke, and my husband drove off the road and he just threw up everywhere. It's like, you couldn't have held it for just 30 seconds, but he didn't. But that's a really good one to have on hand to help when they're nauseous and motion sickness in the car. Paired with the peppermint beadlets, those are great to have to help calm the tummy, whether you're traveling, you're eating out a lot. And those are going to kind of help you not have such a bloated stomach and an upset stomach. And then the Digestin is the basically adult version of tamer. And I still use that on my kids as well. It's diluted, but I love to rub that again on my stomach and on, sorry, I'm just letting a couple of people in here. On my kids' tummies and things like that, if that's all I have with me. And then I always bring Deep Blue with me everywhere. Absolutely everywhere I go, I have Deep Blue because I have what's called costochondritis. I have inflammation in the rib cage. Now, I just took a trip across the country last week by myself, and I feel like when I'm driving, I can't get comfortable, and so I'm stuck in a position. And my rib cage was so painful, and I just kept rubbing that Deep Blue on, and you can't imagine how much it relieves that pain. So I use that if my kids' legs are sore, anything like that when we're traveling. That's another one I always have. So then also going back to that motion sickness and things like that, wild orange is really good to throw in your hands and just breathe. If you've seen like a scent tent, you put your hands out, you can put a little bit in your hands, rub them together, and just breathe in the oil that you are wanting to inhale. Just to go over the ones that I use all the time with me in my carrying case. Frankincense is our king of all oils. It does everything you absolutely need it to. It has such a character to it that you really can ask it to do anything and it will. Same thing with copaiba. Copaiba, those two oils, if you don't have anything with you, those two are going to save you. They just have that pairable oil. So I could have lavender, and if you want it to do a little bit more, if you want it to go a little bit further, pair it with that copaiba. It's going to enhance the effect of the other oil that's being paired with. I have Breathe with me because of allergies, congestion, just if anybody gets a cough or anything like that. On Guard is our protective blend. I always put that on my kids and myself when we're on a trip. I roll it on their feet. I roll it on their spines. Helichrysum is our liquid Band-Aid. And that speaks for itself. If my kids get an owie or something, or somebody gets hurt, that's a quick, I can just roll it on. It kind of helps stop any kind of bleeding. Lavender is going to help with soothing. If you do end up getting any kind of sunburn or anything like that, that's going to help. I'll talk about that in a second. And I also, I will sometimes use the Serenity on their feet as well, because these are already pre-diluted. So I'll just put like the On Guard and then roll Serenity or rub Serenity in. But I also will do lavender too. I'll just pair those two together, On Guard and lavender at bedtime. And then I put vetiver on my kiddos' chests and my chest, and that helps calm us down. When you travel, especially through different time zones, you kind of become delirious. And my kids do not want to go to bed. And I'm like, please, just go to sleep. It's already an hour ahead. Like, it's bedtime, right? And they're like, no, Mom, it's still 6. And I'm like, okay. A peppermint, again, that's going to help with the same thing as Digestin. If you don't have Digestin on you, peppermint's a great one to have. It's going to help with tummy problems too. If you're nauseous, that's a great one to have. If you need a boost of energy in the moment, also peppermint. Tea tree is that antibacterial, antifungal, anytime they get cuts or things like that. If we're out in the middle of nowhere and need that kind of cleansing oil, that's going to be it. And then again, I already talked about adaptive. Mom's saving grace, Xanax. Be happy. Okay, so then air travel. Of course, I got my pack of oils right here. I put these in my backpack. I also have another bag full of oils. You'd laugh at how many I bring. If you guys don't bring a lot of oils like I do, you'd probably look at me and think I'm crazy. Okay, some really cool things though about air travel that I bring. Balance. If you put balance right behind your ears or your kiddo's ears, it's going to help you adjust to that cabin pressure and that change of elevation. So then they're not complaining about their ears popping and the pain in their ears and things like that. And the other one, Aroma Touch, is one that I like to bring for after you get off the plane. Our legs have been sitting for a while. There's not a lot of circulation going. And so if you take some fraction coconut oil and some Aroma Touch and rub it on the calves and your legs, it's going to help get that circulation going. So I'm just going to look at these comments really quick. So Lauren says she loves to diffuse in her car. Yeah, it does help everybody's mood and energy. I think we're all on the same page, Whitley, loving all the oils. They help so much. And then Lauren says she's a bigger bag because all of them are perfect to travel with. That's kind of how I feel. I feel like if I could just dump them all in, that would be wonderful, but I can't. And I'll explain why, especially for the air travel. I feel like I could if I really wanted to for traveling in the car. Sure, why not bring everything? So then one I just found out about was the Peace Roller. So I don't have it personally. And boy, do I wish I had it a couple of flights ago with my daughter. I had a grandma look at me after the flight and she's like, that was a rough one, wasn't it? And I was like, yeah. For a little girl who's traveled on a plane probably 30 times already in her 2 short years of life, that was the worst flight with her in May that I've ever had. She would not go to sleep. And she was really struggling. I had balance on me. I had lavender. I was like dousing her in everything I had and nothing was really sticking. And sure enough, 2 days later, Emily Wright, who is the president and founder of doTERRA, she shared that peace calms your babies down so much when you're on a plane. And I messaged her and I was like, I wish I had that. I really do. So you better believe I'm ordering it because we have a couple more flights in the future, I'm sure. But roll that on their feet and on their spine, maybe even let them smell it. It's going to help calm them down and give them that comfort as you're flying. And she's little enough that I don't give her gum. And so that balance, I did put it behind her ears, and that was part of the problem. But the other part was she was just tired. It was a really late flight. She also has FOMO and can't miss out on anything. Okay. And then this one right here, this jet lag, these 3 are awesome for when you're done traveling, when you're ready to get back in the rhythm of things and have energy again. These are the ones I'm going to reach for: grapefruit, bergamot, and lavender. You can put them in a roller together. You can diffuse them. They're just going to help with that energy, help soothe you, help redirect your mindset to the time zone that you're in. And if you don't have grapefruit and bergamot, the 3 that I would recommend are going to be lemon, lavender, peppermint, which are awesome to have on hand anyways for so many different reasons. But those are the ones I'd reach for. Okay, so then some more tips for traveling. And this is why I said I don't know that you could really bring every single oil you want to when you travel. All I would recommend is looking up the guidelines and the rules on the flight that you're taking. Most of them allow 3.4 ounces to a bottle, which our 15 milliliter bottles are actually only 0.5 ounces. So if you can grab all those, that's awesome. But a lot of the times they have this 3-1-1 rule. And that means that 3.4 is the biggest you can go in a bottle. You can have 1 quart-sized bag, like Ziploc bag, per 1 person. So that's that 3-1-1. And a quart size bag is pretty big, so you could probably put quite a few oils in there. I've never actually used this rule. And I don't know, I've never been caught red-handed with all these oils looking at me like, what are you doing? But anyways, I would grab, if you have this, a case like this, I would do this and then just take a smaller bag and put in the oils that you can fit in that. And I think you'd be fine. I've always been fine. Another thing that I do when I'm traveling by air, my oils are like medication to me. And I actually do have medication for my thyroid because I don't have one anymore. So I always have to have that on me. I keep my oils on me as a carry-on. I never check them because bags go missing and I do not need hundreds of dollars of my oils gone away from me, missing. So again, just check whatever airline you're going on, their rules, especially if you're traveling to a different country. A lot of English-based companies and countries are fine with you bringing liquids like this. But if you're going to go to a foreign country that speaks another language, sometimes they are a little bit more hesitant on what you're bringing and how much you're bringing of it. And then let's just talk about some products really quick that I bring. Again, I bring so many things, but my supplements are something that I bring a ton of. I use the Lifelong Vitality Pack. So I fill my case of my pill case with all the days I'm going to be gone. I bring Digestin tablets for my stomach if I have any stomach issues. My brother did last week, and I went up to him and I was like, eat this. And he's like, what the heck are you giving me? He thinks I'm all full of voodoo, which is fine. But he took it, and a little while later, he's like, I'm feeling a little bit better. So that made me feel good. I was like, see, they work. On Guard, I love to pop one of those at least once or like every other day, or at least once a day, just help give me that boost being around different people, traveling through airports, that kind of stuff, gas stations, you're full of germs. Adaptive, I do have it in that roller. I have it in the bottle with me all the time, but I also bring it in pill form. I bring the whole trio because my kids, they're kids. And I'd rather treat them kindly and be patient with them than scream at them in a very confined area, especially when we're traveling in a car or upset in the airport. I always take one of those. I'm like, look at my husband and like, you take one too. We're not going to fight. We're not going to let them get between us. So adaptive capsules, and then Serenity to help me sleep. Some other ones, I just throw a couple of them. These guys right here, the On Guard throat drops and the breathe drops. I throw those with me just in case anybody comes up with any kind of a cough or congestion in their throat or chest. Those are both great to soothe their throat and help them breathe better. These wipes right here. Yes, if you're flying by air, I bring them with me every time, and I wipe down the seat and I wipe down all my kids' trays, and those are glorious to have if you do, along with the hand sanitizer, constantly spraying my kids. So I usually pack 2 of those with me at least. I can't live without my shampoo and conditioner now. If you guys haven't tried it yet, go try it. I just take it and I sit there and I like pump my little travel size containers full of how much I think I'm going to need for the trip. And so much better than like hotel shampoo and conditioner, or even just like going and getting the travel size of Tresemme or something like that. I always have a lotion on me. This is the Citrus Bliss one. I usually have the rose one because that's my favorite. I mentioned this Airex earlier, Airex or even Purify in the hotel rooms to diffuse. Occasionally I'll bring those, not very often though. If you are, okay, I was just saying this one, this Correct-X, this is another one I throw in again for my kiddos, any kind of cuts or issues like that, that we're going to need what's natural Neosporin. That's when I grab. If you're camping, and on the road camping, the Tear Shield's a great bug spray, and the Purify is going to help with the itching if you do get any bug bites. And there's just, okay, the other ones that aren't on here that I was just going to mention really fast. If I could, and sometimes my kiddos do, I bring the kids collection. And that's just because my kids are super comfortable with rolling their oils on and they feel very independent. and the oils work really well for them because they're diluted specifically for kids. So that's one I bring with me. And the other one I mentioned earlier about the lavender, doTERRA also just came out with their sun line. And so if I'm traveling by car, which I just did last week, I will bring the sun spray, the face stick, and the after sun. I bring all those with me. And so the after sun's really good if you do have any kind of burns or anything like that. So those are just a whole lot of oils that I recommend. Narrow it down to what you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable just filling your case full and that's all you bring with you, that's totally okay. doTERRA also has this small little travel kit, and it comes with lavender, wild orange, peppermint, and aroma touch. I think those are awesome oils to grab. If even those are the 4 you bring, those are great because lavender is going to be soothing. It's going to also help you with sleep. That wild orange helps with nausea, but it also makes your attitude better. Peppermint's going to wake you up. It also can help with headaches. That aroma touch is just great for that circulation and stuff. So I think they really hit the nail on the head there with picking the best oils if you're going to condense a kit. So those are the ones I recommend. Does anyone have any questions or anything to add that they bring on a trip or want to know if they can bring on a trip? Okay. Oops. Alrighty. Well, that is all that I have today. Hopefully that was helpful to some of you. And yeah, thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. Okay, we'll see you guys later.